them. My name is Jamie Cobes. I'm a manager of tutor training and digital literacy at Wisconsin Literacy. And every month I offer this series called Digital Tools for Teaching. And this month the topic is whiteboards, online whiteboards. So in our time together today, here is what I'd like to cover. I'd like to show you 3 digital whiteboards and their features. I want to answer the question, why even use a digital whiteboard? Show you some ways or some ideas for how to use them, and then give you a chance to build your own whiteboard activity. And so we can play around on whiteboards. The first thing I want to point out is that I'll talk about these 3 whiteboards today: Jotboard, Padlet Sandbox, and then Zoom's whiteboard. And we're on Zoom together today. They have some common features that I like, and that I think it makes the case for why to use a whiteboard. So the first feature is a pen tool. And I've got my own pen tool here, so I'll just point out, you can see on the menus for these whiteboards that everyone has a little bit different of an icon, but there are pen tools in each of those whiteboards. The next one is a text box feature. Often that is represented as a T icon. And this is nice because while the pen tool is great for drawing or maybe just like pointing and drawing lines, it's pretty hard to write nicely with the pen tool on a whiteboard. So the text box, you click on it, it opens up, and then you can type in there. And you don't have to handwrite everything. The next feature is a sticky note. So this is like a digital Post-it note that you can put on the whiteboard. They come in different colors, and just a nice feature there. Another feature is the ability to add images. So you can import images from your files from the internet and paste them right on to your whiteboard. That icon is a little bit tricky to find in some of these, but that's the add image there. In Padlet, it's actually in this +17. So they've got 17 other tools that you can use on Padlet. And then I believe here on the Zoom whiteboard, it's this upload icon, because you do have to find it on your computer, not on the internet. Next feature is the ability to draw shapes. So you can do that with the pen tool, but you can also make shapes with straight lines and perfect circles with the add shapes icons here. Oops. And the next feature, and I think this one is the reason, it's often why I would use a whiteboard instead of like a Microsoft Word document or instead of a PowerPoint, is the ability to manipulate any of the objects that you put on the whiteboard. And so that's not an icon on the toolbars, but let's say you put a sticky note down on the whiteboard, you put an image down on the whiteboard, you and a learner can drag and drop that anywhere on the whiteboard. And so that's a really cool feature, I think, of digital whiteboards. Another feature that they all have in common is the ability to create multiple pages. They're going to use different words than the word page. Jotboard calls them frames. So you can have one frame and then you just quickly add another so that you're staying in the same whiteboard, but you have different whiteboards altogether. Padlet calls them cards and Zoom calls them pages. And then finally, another feature that I think makes whiteboards worth using rather than a Word document or a PowerPoint is the ability to collaborate. So multiple people can be in the same whiteboard at the same time, adding, drawing, moving objects. Let me clear my drawings here. All right, so I mentioned the 3 types of whiteboards that I'll talk about today. I chose all of them, firstly, because they're all free, or they have some version of free. So Jotboard is one of them. It is free. The one limitation that I found, I haven't exceeded making jot boards. So it hasn't told me, oh, you've made too many jot boards. You can't make any more with your free account. So I'm good there, but it has told me I can have a maximum of 5 collaborators. So for example, there are 4 of us right now on the call today, and that's good. We can all be in the same jot board. But if I had 2 more people on this call, I would exceed my limit of collaborators. So if you have larger classes, you might want to consider getting one of the paid versions of Jotboard. Couple of notes on Jotboard: you do need an account to create one, but not to collaborate. So you all, if you don't have a Jotboard account, you can join my Jotboards today and work in those. If you are familiar with Google and their Jamboard product, which is no more, this Jotboard is most like Google's Jamboard. So if you already have those skills, they transfer really nicely. Padlet Sandbox is also free. When you have the free version, you're limited to 3 Padlets total, but you can delete ones that you've already created to stay within that limit. Again, you need an account to create, but not to collaborate. One of the nice features about Padlet that makes it stand out among these 3 is that you can add video and audio to your whiteboards in Padlet. So I can show you that later. And then finally, Zoom Whiteboard comes with Zoom, and even with the free version of Zoom, you have to have an account to open up your Zoom call and to create that whiteboard. So it's best for virtual calls, not necessarily in-person instruction. And one of the features of the Zoom whiteboard that makes it stand out among these is that you can upload whole files. So for example, let's say I have a worksheet that I'm using and I have a digital version of that and I'm using it with a learner. I can upload that worksheet into the whiteboard and then we can all write and type right on it inside the whiteboard. I'll go back and pause for just a minute. Any questions right now?
I do have a question. And I'm sorry if I missed this. You said, and it says here, that the Zoom whiteboard is best for virtual calls. How does, what makes it better than Jamboard or Sandbox for virtual calls?
So I guess I would say if you're using Zoom as your virtual call tool, then it's definitely better to use the Zoom whiteboard. It's just fewer steps to be able to share it with anybody else on your call, like a student. So if I'm in my Zoom call, I open up a Zoom whiteboard, there's nothing a student needs to do. They see that whiteboard, they get the tools right on their screen. Whereas if you were in a Zoom call, but you wanted to share a Padlet or a Jotboard, you would have to share a link in the chat for them to access that. The other way I sort of meant that is if you are working in person, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to start a Zoom call in order to use a Zoom whiteboard. So in that case, you'd probably prefer Padlet or Jotboard.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions? All right, so the why. Why should I use a digital whiteboard instead of a physical whiteboard or instead of just paper and pencil? Couple of thoughts there. I think digital whiteboards are great for virtual instruction. Sometimes they're like the only tool that works well with virtual instruction. But I also think there are cases where you would want to use a digital whiteboard for in-person instruction. So you are sitting down right next to a learner, open up a computer and grab a Jotboard or a Padlet. And here's why I think that might be a great option. Whiteboards make your lessons multisensory and interactive. And that's going to be really engaging for learners. They are highly visual. So you can put, like I said, you can put images on it from the internet. You can put colorful sticky notes, all sorts of things like that. They make your instruction kinesthetic and tactile. So if you are drawing on that whiteboard, if you are moving, manipulating objects on that whiteboard, you are doing. And we know that we learn really well and we retain information when we are doing. There it is. The learner is doing and creating when you're working on a whiteboard. And finally, I have found that often it's less preparation for me as a tutor or an instructor to create something on a whiteboard than it is to create a paper activity. Case in point, I was just tutoring last night and I wanted to make a quick matching activity. So instead of writing by hand on some index cards real quick or cutting something out, I just opened up a whiteboard and I put 6 sticky notes on it. 3 for the vocabulary words, 3 for the definitions, and then I had a quick matching activity where my learner could drag and drop those Post-it notes together. Any questions there for why to use a digital whiteboard, or even comments, anything that you've found with using digital whiteboards? All right, so I did want to show you a couple of ways to use whiteboards. They really bring out the creativity, I think, in people. So as you're seeing these, know that these are not the only ways to use whiteboards, just a couple of ways that I have. So there's one strategy that's particularly helpful for teaching English language learners, which is total physical response. And so it's the idea that learners are demonstrating their understanding of English vocabulary by doing something, by following a command, and by having a physical response to it. And so you're thinking, how do I do that on a whiteboard? Well, let me show you an example. This is Jotboard. You can see the J in the left-hand corner. And so this is a way you might use a digital whiteboard with a total physical response activity of being able to follow directions. So what I did is I imported this picture of the map. It's just a map of a pretend town. And then I inserted a sticky note. So I'm going to put my name on the sticky note. And I have it. It's a little bit too big to fit on that road as a car, so I'm going to shrink it. And then I can ask people to give me directions. Marcia, would you mind unmuting and just telling me where I should drive? I'm going to, oh, where did my sticky note go? There it is. I'm going to start right here. You tell me where to go.
Jamie, drive to the hospital.
Where's the hospital? Okay, how do I get there? I'm going to go straight.
Mhm.
What should I do from here, Marcia?
Okay, here you're going to make a left.
Turn left.
Okay.
Now,
And there you are.
there I am. All right, so that's one way to do a total physical response with maps and directions. Another one is, especially if you are teaching in a virtual atmosphere, it's hard to, with a student, say, show me the pen, show me the phone, when you're just on camera. But if you create a digital whiteboard like this, for example, let's say I'm working on road signs, and then I'm going to add a square here. Make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to, changing the order is I'm going to move it move to the bottom. It's so that I can put images on top of things. So I moved it to the bottom or to the backs because I'm going to drag these signs on top of it. Another nice feature is the lock here. So I've locked this square into place. Nobody can move it. But now I can sit with a student and I can say, this is a stop sign. And just moving it into that square is a way to draw their attention to it. This is a yield. This is a do not enter. After I've done that demo, then I can test their ability to identify, and I can say, show me the stop sign. And then it's sort of a TPR, a total physical response, because they're moving the object into the square. Show me the do not enter. So that's one way to use whiteboards. Another example is an I Spy activity. This is Padlet Sandbox now. So you may be familiar with I Spy pictures like this. So I could give a prompt. Let's circle everything that starts with the sound B, as in boy. And so I would grab a pen tool. What will show up best on this busy picture? I'll try yellow. And then I'll start circling button, badge, etc. Another way to use whiteboards is to create your own games. So I took these sight words from a published lesson that I was working on with a student. And so these were the sight words from that lesson. I just copied and pasted them onto this digital whiteboard. And then I created some tokens that we can move and just play a game of, you could play tic-tac-toe, you could play Connect Four. So I'm just going to read the sight word, him, and then I get to place my token. And then my partner reads a sight word, busy, and places the token. And so creating games on digital whiteboards is a great low prep, I think, because now I don't have to bring all of these tokens with me to my lesson. One other example, grammar demonstrations. Also, this is Padlet. So I could be teaching the difference between using is and are with singular or plural subjects. So I could just demonstrate, this is a sponge. The sponge is on the table. These are sponges. The sponges are on the table. The bags are on the table. The Windex is. The brush is on the table. The rags are on the table. Sequencing is another way that we've used digital whiteboards. So I can very quickly collect some pictures from the internet and then ask students to put them in order and tell me about the order or tell me the story. Can move them. And last thing, I can quickly create graphic organizers to help students organize information and specifically test their reading comprehension. So this is one that we used with this text debit or credit. So we read this quick text about the difference between debit and credit cards. And then I created a second frame here with a Venn diagram. And the information from the text is on sticky notes. And then I would ask a student, please sort these. Is this a debit card, a credit card, or both? So can be used instead of cash when you go shopping. That's both. Any questions about what you just saw or any other ideas or ways that you've used online whiteboards?
I don't know. You said you could do something quickly. I think if I were to do that, it would be very slowly. And I guess I find working from a kind of a workbook or a book is, I think, easier. It's easier for me. Of course, I haven't done this, but I think in order for me to get it set up or to be able to do this, um, it would be quite a process. And if we're using, if the student is also using his or her own screen, then that's another complication because I think most of my students probably don't have the ability to be able to do that, to take a look at or to set up or to monitor their own screens. So,
Thank you, Jay.
you're thinking primarily that this would be used if you had Zoom meetings? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, it can definitely be used in Zoom meetings, but I think it could also be used and should be used in person
Okay.
as a backup tool. And I appreciate you pointing out that I have been saying, yes, you can do this quickly, but there is a learning curve, right? Like you do need to learn yourself the skills, the ability to click on a post-it note, put it on that whiteboard, or to find an image and paste it on the whiteboard. And then you need to teach students those skills too. So it's a process, and I would really recommend scaffolding it. Like let's start really simple and just do one thing on the whiteboard today. And then the next time we'll build onto that. But I think it can be used for virtual instruction, and also in-person instruction. So the way that I'm sort of seeing it in my head for in-person instruction is if you're sitting down next to somebody, either you both have a device and you can open up the whiteboard on both of those devices, or you're sharing a device like a laptop between you, and then you can both work on the same laptop and the same whiteboard. I'm going to stop sharing my slides right now, and I'm going to open up a Zoom whiteboard and just give us all the opportunity to see how that works and to play around a little bit with it. So you should see a whiteboard now on your screen. And I think on the left, that's where it is for me, you have a toolbar. So I encourage you to just explore that toolbar. Try the pen tool. Try the text box tool. Put some sticky notes on. If you're wondering like how to erase or how to undo, on the bottom left-hand corner, you should see two arrows. One is an undo, so you can undo anything you just did. There's also a garbage can that I think allows you to clear. I can clear the whole page, and I'm thinking that's just because I'm the host. You should probably only be able to clear your own drawings.
Where did you say that undo was, Jamie?
Bottom left corner is where I'm seeing it, Jay. There's like a curved
Okay,
arrow.
I see it now. Yes.
Jay's breaking out the cursive. That's awesome. Are you using a mouse or a trackpad to do that?
I didn't think you could see me, but
Yep, I can see everything.
oh,
Can
oh,
you see what others are putting on it?
okay. Um, yeah, I use the pencil on my finger, I guess.
Oh, you used your finger. That's great. Who did this yellow sticky note? I like the lavender font color.
I did that one.
That's cool. How do you change the font color?
So I highlighted the text and then another menu with different icons comes up, and I selected one. When you hover over it, it says text color, and then it opens up a bunch of options of colors.
Okay.
Jamie, when would you use the link option?
Where is it?
That same little toolbar that Robin was just talking about, where you can choose font and color and size of letters. And then there's the sticky note color, and next to that is a link feature. And I clicked on that, and it says show. I'm wondering if I type just. Nope, it didn't like that. I just don't know what I'd be linking to.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Oh, I see.
You see it? Yeah.
Yeah.
like Right next to the lock or unlock position.
So I think you can insert a link from the internet into your sticky note.
Got it.
I
Okay, that
think.
makes sense. Okay. Okay. Makes sense.
All right, if you don't mind, here's my idea. In just a minute, I'm going to clear everybody's drawings, and then I want us to together create an activity that we could use with learners, specifically English language learners. Does everybody see the emoji icon? It's like the smiley face on the bottom of their menu.
No.
No, you don't have a, so it's for me, it's the very last emoji or the very last icon on my toolbar. So I have an arrow that points up for upload, and then I have a smiley face.
Let me open it bigger.
Robin, do you see?
No, you're referring to the toolbar for the whiteboard, not whiteboard, rather, not the toolbar for Zoom, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I found it.
Okay, and where's yours, Robin?
Let me go back. So I clicked on the three dots,
Oh, it's in
and
your
then
more.
that opened up other
Oh,
options.
okay. Stickers and emojis. I found it too.
Okay, so Marcia and Robin, since you found it, here,
Mhm.
let me clear everything. I want you each to pick out 2 emojis that you can put on the whiteboard.
Okay.
And then Jay, I want you to find the T for text box. And we're going to type some words.
Mhm.
Okay, there. Hold on.
Jay, if you can find the text box, we're going to put words on the screen that identify those emotions. So for example, I saw there was heart somewhere. Where did it go?
Okay, text.
Oh, there it is. And then I would put love. I'm going to make that a lot bigger.
Hmm. Well,
So Robin, you've already started to sort of see how this can become a matching activity. So we can use arrows like you're doing.
Trying to delete it.
I see. You can also use the pen tool and start drawing lines to match. And I believe, do you all have the ability to drag, like, so to manipulate either the text boxes or the emojis and move them together? All right. Great.
Oops, I just made your angry eye really little. Yeah, okay.
So a couple of different ways that we can create a matching activity. So we're putting emojis on, we're putting the language on, and we can either draw lines, create arrows, or drag the objects together as we're matching. I'm going to close the Zoom whiteboard and give you a link to a Jot board where we can try the same thing. There we go. So this is my Jot board account, and you can see that it's keeping track of the
Mhm.
Jot boards that I create. So I would create new board. And to share it with you all, I'm going to go to the share button. And I want anyone with the link to be able to edit right now because I want you to add things and move things. So I've given that permission here, and then I'm going to click copy link. And then I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to put the link in the chat. So when you click on this link in the Zoom chat, it should open up the Jot board for you. But if you go to the top of Jot board where it says 1 of 1 and you click on the right arrow, you can quickly add a second frame and a third frame so that everybody who's in your whiteboard could actually be working on their own frame.
Okay.
All right, and it looks like somebody is already creating a cool activity. We have bird, dog, and cat on these sticky notes. What could we do with them?
Trying to upload an image of a dog, a bird, and a cat for the student to match them. Sorry, I'm being a little uncreative and using the same kind of match
No,
activity
no.
we just did.
This is great because now, you know, if we do the same kind of activity, then we're just comparing like how each of the whiteboards works. So no need to be more creative than that. One thing that Jotboard does allow, I'll admit it's a little bit tricky. If you go just to the internet, so I'll open up a page and I'll say image of bird. And then if I see, if I copy this, so I'm going to click copy image and go back to Jotboard. Let's see if it's going to cooperate with me. And now on my computer, I'm going to click Control V for paste. It takes a little bit. It's telling me it'll take 10 seconds. And so
Oh,
now,
there it is.
Oh,
I don't know, is it twitching for you?
It is.
yes.
Sometimes it does
Cold.
that. And then I just,
Oh, now it's fine.
no, it's fine.
Now I'm trying to upload one by using the upload tool within Jotboard. And I got that same, that image that you have up right now that says uploading image may take 10 seconds, but it's been several minutes and it's still.
Oh,
trying.
okay. Is there a way to cancel it?
Yes, I will cancel it now.
Okay. So yeah, I'm seeing you can browse files or Google Images, and so you clicked Google Images to find it
No,
that way?
Yes, that's correct. I did.
Okay, because the browse file is only if you've already saved an image to your device.
Yeah, mine isn't uploading either. It's thinking.
Right, so the image feature on Jotboard, it's something to consider. It is a little bit wonky, for lack of a better word. Sometimes it doesn't cooperate. While you all continue to play on Jotboard, I'm going to get a Padlet ready to share with you all so that you can jump into a Padlet and try that as well.
Mm.
If you want to look at your Zoom call, you can follow along here. So I have a Padlet open and I'll just show you how to share it. Up in the top, there's a share icon, this curved arrow, and I would select that. You will be my collaborators or my visitors. So I'm going to set the visitor permission to editor so that you can both add and move things. And then I'm going to copy the link here. I'm going to put it in the chat. Couple things to know about Padlet Sandbox. Your menu or your tools are actually on the right, if you're seeing it the same way that I do. The pen, the text box, the sticky note, and the shapes are all right there. But if you're looking for other things, you can click on the +17. And then you get Padlet's 17 other tools that you can use. Some of note is the video recorder. You can add video to the whiteboard. So if you click on that, it won't let you do it right now because we're all in a Zoom call together. So your device is already using your camera. You can do an audio recorder, which I think is really cool because then you could create a listening activity. So we could put pictures on and then we could create audio files and we listen to the word and then match it. Oh my goodness.
That's adorable.
Who put that on there?
I did.
That's hilarious.
I thought he was pretty funny.
The other thing, the Padlet has a feature called I Can't Draw, and it is their AI image creator. So if you open that and you prompt it with, I would like a really cute dog, blah, 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 it will create an image for you to put on the whiteboard. Other thing to note about Padlet is on the left then, you can see we have one, Padlet calls them cards. So just like Jotboard had frames, if I click the plus here, I can add another card, a third card, and then you all should be able to jump into those second and third cards as well. Everybody who attended today, and if you're watching the video online, in the description of the video there will be a link to a handout. It's just a one-page handout with all the information I provided today, including some links. Well, you'll get links to Jotboard and Padlet so that you can explore them yourselves. You'll get links to some of the examples I showed today so that you can see those. And then there's also some links to like tutorial videos, how to use Padlet, how to use Jotboard. So please feel free to access that handout as a way to review. I mentioned that this was a monthly series. We are taking a break next month, so there will be no digital tools for teaching in February, but what in its place, Wisconsin Literacy is offering a week-long virtual winter conference. So I encourage you to visit our website and check out all the fantastic sessions that we have, and register for those in the month of February. And then digital tools for teaching will return in March.